This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All contents provided by this channel is meant for educational purpose only.
What up, though? Welcome to the Homeschool Dad channel. And today's video, I got something special for you. What we're going to talk about today is infinite banking, or better known as whole life insurance. And what we're going to talk about is basically an intro and the steps that you can take, steps you need to take to get started. In this video, we're going to go over at a in-home examination and fill out the paperwork so I can get this policy started. And I want to take you through the journey with me as you watch this video. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and we're going to get into it. You know what I'm talking about? Life insurance.
What's my life insurance?
Don't die.
Well, you ain't gonna die. Something wrong with you. You done got crushed by heavy stuff. Still ain't been flipped over in the car. Still ain't nothing going on.
I would like to put it in the garbage if you don't mind. I need to release the result to the family doctor. What is your family doctor? So I need to put his name here or her name, the lady, and I need the name again of the doctor here, and the address and the
I'm Jimmy Johnson with this. I'm Jimmy Johnson with this. That I address, I'm like running in ditch. I cycle, I swim and I run. Whatever you need, I'll try out the line with the dick. Turn
Hey, real quick, what's the name of my dog?
running this shit. Hey, I can see you as my chick. Nah, I can see you as my bitch.
Okay.
You keep it natural, stay in your bag like you wearing satchels.
All right,
Hey,
thank you.
baby, you a godsend, just missing the sandals. But still, you ain't missing much. Put your hands on my back, just a different touch. Put your ass on my plate, I don't skip the lunch. I don't skip the brunch, not the dinner neither. And we hella close, not a centimeter. Get it in between us, so you two turned up. Looking like Bartlett's masterpiece. Make a nigga say unlike masterpiece.
Yeah, you can
Yourself
say.
after me. Don't nobody really want you bad as me. If you walk away, that
The
was sad to
day-to-day
see. But if you can't stay, baby, have a
7:20
seat on my face every day, any day, every time, all the time, in my mind, summertime, dinner time. I just wanna see you cross the finish line.
The doctor's
Feeling
name
like
again,
Jimmy, I
and
can
the
eat
address
Johnson.
and
Know
the
you like women that content. All in your bank and I never pull out. I just like making deposits. Yeah, you keep it natural.
What up, though? So now let me put into context. What is whole life insurance? By definition, whole life insurance is a permanent insurance policy that pays the beneficiaries a specific amount upon the death of the insured. Because the insurance policy also builds upon a tax deferred cash value over the life of the policy holder can borrow against it. And let me repeat, the policy holder can borrow against that money. So what is that? What is that versus a term life insurance policy? Okay, so term life insurance policy, on the contrary, is defined. A term life policy is a contract between you and an insurance company for a defined period, typically between 10 and 30 years. During that term, you promise to pay a premium each month. In return, the company promises to pay a specific amount of money, a death benefit, if you pass away during that life term. So that's the difference. One policy you only get when you pass away. The other policy you can use while you're living. Reason for this video, you know what I'm talking about? That's why we're here today. So I know you heard of the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, the Clintons. What do they all have in common? They all use what we call whole life insurance. Disney, you know what I'm saying? All these people know all these secrets and ways of building wealth. This is what we do to prepare for estate planning. If you haven't planned your estate or don't know what estate planning is, I strongly advise you and your family to start looking into this information, because what it's going to do is going to bring you and future generations to come after you. It's going to put them in a position where they don't have to depend on a banking institution. So at this point right now, we're in the interview, and what she's doing is she's asking me questions pertaining to my health. Have I ever been diagnosed with diabetes, ever been ever diagnosed with HIV. And when you're doing this, just know that you're giving up all your pertinent information pertaining to your family's history, and it's imperative that they get the information, because what it's going to do is you're going to be building wealth. This is a wealth vehicle, so they have to make sure that everything they need to know about you and your family. And so it was questions that, I ain't gonna say I was uncomfortable with answering, but I asked questions about my mother, asked questions about my father. My mother, unfortunately, had a disease called lupus back in the days. So they wanted to know, when did she basically obtain that particular disease, and how is she doing at the current moment. Also asked me about diabetes. Does anyone in my family have diabetes? Asked about my father's history. Asked about my brother's history, my sister's history. And it was just, a very educational thing, I guess, for me, because I learned, a few things. How these insurance companies, how they work, what type of information are they basing their approvals or denials on, so you get to learn a lot. So for this video, I want you to understand that this is the reason why I'm bringing it to you, because for the most part, I understand, and then I want to overstand the information. So when I bring it to you, you'll know what to expect when it's time for you to get a policy. And the only reason why I'm bringing this to you, because look, this is something that I learned from a book on Amazon. And the name of the title is Becoming Your Own Banker, the 5th edition, Unlock the Infinite Banking Concept, by an author by the name of R. Nelson Nash. Now, this book, hands down, will break down the infinite banking concept, because it was created by Mr. Nelson Nash. So I can just read you a passage from the book so you can get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. So in the Becoming Your Own Banker, on page 21, this chapter is called Creating Your Own Banking System Through Dividend Paying Life Insurance. And it goes something like this. Banking, the business of a bank, originally restricted to money changing and now devoted to taking money on deposits subject to check or draft, loaning money and credit, and any other associated form of general dealing in money or credit. Webster's Third New International Dictionary. The very first principle that must be understood is that you finance everything that you buy. You either pay interest to someone else, or you give up interest you could have earned otherwise. The alternate use of money must always be reckoned with. Some call this opportunity cost, but it is amazing how people give lip service to this fact, but do not put into practice in their own financial dealings. The equivalent of thinking that the law of gravity applies to everyone else but them. An excellent article appeared in the September 1993 issue of Fortune magazine entitled The Real Key to Creating Wealth by Sean Tully, in which he describes the concept of economic value added developed by Stern Stewart and Company of New York City. Tully says, understanding that while EVA is easily today's leading idea in corporate finance and one of the most talked about in business, it is far from the newest. On the contrary, earning more than the cost of capital is about the oldest idea in enterprise. But just as green glories were forgotten in the Dark Ages, to be rediscovered in the Renaissance. So the idea behind EVA has often been lost in ever darkened muddles of accounting. Managers and investors who come upon it as if they have seen a revelation. In summary, before being introduced to EVA, corporations were borrowing capital from banks and paying interest, but they were treating their own capital equity as if it had no cost. When they were brought face to face with the error of their ways and conducted their business with this fact included in the equation, then the profitability increased dramatically. EVA's basic premise is, if you know what's really happening, you'll know what to do. The same thing applies to the infinite banking concept. In creating any product, it all begins with engineering. The automobile you drive started out being lines on a piece of paper. If the production workers don't do what the engineers designed, you won't have an automobile. But they did, and your car rolls off the assembly line. Suppose that I get the next one, and it is identical to yours. Same color, equipment, features, etc. They are identical in every way. Can you safely predict that they will both perform identically during their lifetimes? Of course not, because you and I know that someone that can get 200 to 300,000 miles out of a car with no trouble, but we both know some people that can't get 50,000 miles out of their car before it's worn out. How you drive the car and care for it is far more important than anything else. Keep this thought in mind as we look further at the life insurance product. The engineers in life insurance are known as actuaries. They are dealing with a field of 10 million selected lives, persons that have been through a screening process, and they are working with a theoretical lifespan of 100 years. Then they turn the information over to the rate makers, who determine what the company is going to have to charge its clients in order to be able to pay the death claims and make the whole system work over a long period of time. Then the whole matter is turned over to lawyers, who make legal and binding contracts that are to be offered to potential buyers through a sales force. The glue that holds this all together is comprised of the administrative folks, executives, and clerks, etc. The contract is unilateral, that is, the company promises to do certain things if you meet the standards of acceptability and make premium payments. Read the contract and it will tell you very plainly that you are the owner of the contract, not the company. The owner is the most important character in this scene. Now that's just a concept. If you pick up the book, please do. That's why I strongly suggest people go pick up this book. It's called Becoming Your Own Banker, the 5th edition, Unlock the Infinite Banking Concept by R. Nelson Nash. What it's going to do is it's going to help you get a better understanding of what infinite banking is and give you the opportunity to do your own due diligence and maybe contact someone in this particular industry that can help you start your journey and getting started in infinite banking. I appreciate you. You know what I'm talking about? This is some information that I've been wanting to bring out to my people, my YouTube family. And so now, hopefully you go through the whole video and watch and listen and pay attention to what's going on. Like I said, when I first got started, this is what the initial. And if you like this video, go check out our YouTube channel and check out all the rest of the content that we have. I appreciate you watching. Support the channel. Don't do what you can do today, tomorrow. What up, though?